Hello again, this is Charlie. We are working on signature number 4 for our album featuring Graphic 45's Sunshine on My Mind collection. And we're going to play a little bit with some scraps and some of the sticker sheets embellishments. So let's go ahead and kind of turn things over so we can get down to the base page. Now, this is a 12 by 12. I wanted the bigger, bolder images. And this piece here is going to measure in at 7.5 by 8 inches. 8 inches is going to be the height for everything that we're going to be playing with. I'll supply the measurements for everything else, except for your designer paper. That will always be cut to fit. Everyone has a different look they want to see, and depending upon what paper they're playing with, some want smaller borders, others want a wider border. So these pieces will always be cut to fit. All right, so this bottom pocket is measuring in at 2¼ inches. And then you will allow for whatever embellishment that you're putting here on the top. Mine happens to be 3/8. Is that right? Once cut, once cut it came in at 1.5. I think it's 3/8 on this side. Now, I apologize. I forgot to pre-tape a lot of this, so you're going to have to bear with me while I take care of this. To me, there's nothing more boring than watching someone put their tape on. But it allows you time to get yours done, get it cut, and get it done as well. All right, so that is ready to go. And I'm going to go ahead and get this placed. Come down here in a corner. Hold it still while I move the rest of it around. Now, this piece came out of my scraps. This is a long sticker embellishment, and then these are 2 ephemera pieces, and I've just gently got them tacked on here. This is down, but I'm going to daub a little bit of glue underneath the stamps so that they will stay in place. So I'm just going to come underneath here, press that down. All right, now let's go ahead and this piece came out of my scraps. Unless necessary, I'm always using scraps for my pockets, no matter what size they are, unless I want a specific look. Then I'll cut into fresh paper, but I don't like to do that. All right, so then up here, we're going to have 2 flip-up picture spots here. So each one is going to measure in at 5.5 inches, and you're going to score it at 1/2. You're going to tape this underside, and then you're going to flip it over. You're going to want 2 of these. So I'm going to go ahead and get my tape added on. To both of them. Okay, now for the top of both, I went to my scraps and I found the black checkered pattern. went to the sticker sheet and embellished the outside edges. So they'll look like this. And I used a 1/4 inch round. And then for the flip side, again, out of my scraps, this is the from the 12 by 12 collection. It's the large checkered piece. And it'll sit in underneath like so. So I'm going to go ahead and get the flaps in, and then I will embellish. Now I'm trying to figure out, I did not pre-measure this. Try and get the same amount of distance at both ends as I have in the middle. And then I will tape these down. Right. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's attach the underside. I'm going to turn this around so that I can easily see what I'm lining up here. Oh, come on. I'm going to give this a good burnish up here just so I can help those to flatten down. Now we're going to go ahead and add these in. I'm not using any magnets to hold these down. It's really not necessary because we're going to have a big opening flap that's going to give us the security of keeping things enclosed and tacked down. The sticker sheets, help to break up this, and this matches with this down here. All right, so for your right side flap, you're gonna cut a piece, turn this upside down and right side over. You're gonna cut a piece that's gonna measure at 5.5 inches, and then you're going to score it at 1/2, and then you're going to score it at 3/4. I want a little bit bigger gusset here because you're going to be building up on this, and you're going to be putting some things in here. So let me get my tape added on. And you're going to come to the 1/2 inch score line for putting this in. And then push back just so that you can rescore that 1/4 inch score line. Now for the left side, this piece is going to be a larger piece without the trim. This is going to measure at 8 inches, and then you're going to score it at 1/2, and then you're going to score it again at 3/4. Now here I rounded my corners, but here I've got the die embellishment on the end. You might not be using anything. You may have chosen to just round all of your corners. You might be using a different die or a punch for embellishment, and you could even be using some lace or ribbon. Whatever works for you. All right, so now we've got this in. I need to set the magnets, and I think I'm going to use 2. I'm going to put one here and one here simply because of how large this is. And if you're using an embellishment, I don't want this pulling and then creating an unnecessary bend. So I think I'm going to use 2 top and bottom. You don't have to, but it is what I'm going to do here. Got a lot of room over here on the right side panel, so I'm not going to worry too much about my spacing. Okay. Now, when I close this, I'm making sure that my edges, top and bottom, are even, and that my gussets are even. There's nothing more frustrating than get your page laid down and you found out your gusset was tweaked or flattened, or that you really didn't pay attention and you end up with a cockeyed page. So I always make sure that everything is even before I can move on. All right, now I'm going to tape this, but I'm going to tape it with the correct piece of paper. I messed up on a previous one. So what we have here on the outside, I chose to use a 12 by 12 sheet. I love this. I love this print. So when you cut this, you're going to have almost exactly what you need for this piece right here. Now I'm going to tape it in. Use my fingernail to give a rounded trim, sort of, if you will. I think I'm going to just put a little tiny bit, not much, down the center. I just find this to be so refreshing. It is so delicate. Well, my trim technique didn't work. All right, so I'm going to put this on, and then I'm going to commit the piece that's in the middle. And then, now we'll finish the insides because I want to cover this. From the 12 by 12s, I went to the patterns and solids and I cut this piece for this side, and I have exactly what I need left over for this side. And I'm just going to do one last dry fit, make sure I've got it trimmed the way I want it. And I'm going to just kind of sneak up to that score line right there and set it down. And it will be perfect. So let's go over here. This is kind of large. Oh, and it's also tape or magnet, so I'm going to tape this in. This is such a cute collection. It's fun. It's somewhat whimsical. Bicycles, garden carts, hot air balloons. And I'm out of tape, so let's find the next roll. I know I've got it in here. So now let's just snuggle right up to this score line. Set that, make sure I'm placed evenly. Commit the centerpiece. And then we'll peel the tape off. I have to commend those of you who are brave enough to take all the tape off. I've just messed up way too much early on and ruined a lot of projects because I couldn't get the tape off right, couldn't seat it right. All right, so next, you're gonna cut a 3.5 by 3.5 square, and then you're gonna cut it on the diagonal. This one is gonna go here. I rounded my corner, and then this one is going to go over here. Now to pull in this, I went to my scraps and then I cut a square that is, oh, this is 3.25 by 3.25. This is 3.5 by 3.5. And then you're going to cut it on the diagonal. I've rounded one corner to go over here on my right side flap, and then I have just kept the other one square. Now I did go to the sticker sheets. I pulled out a couple of embellishments. One is the shape of a heart with the ladybug, and then the other one says, you're sweet. Excuse me, I tried to put a different word in there that didn't exist. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these in place, and then I will tape them down. So that we make some pockets. You end up with a wide border. I'm ending up with a wider border than I want to see, but I wasn't going to mess with micro measurements. I call it micro measurements. It's those little 1/16, 2/16. I just get totally befuddled with them. All right, so I'm going to tape this way so I can set this flush and then tear it. And I'm going to come in here, set this flush, and then tear. Just as easy. Whoops. Wasn't either. There we go. All right, so now let's get this back in frame for you. This one's going to go on this corner, and I'm sitting it right along the edge of the pattern paper. And so now we have a nice pocket, and you have plenty of room to put some photos in here. Now we're going to come over here. I'm going to take advantage of that angled cut. And I'm not going to worry about this. It's so little, nothing's going to slide out of there. And with the tape on the two sides, it will stay down. And then I'm coming over, tape overhang. Let's roll that under. Then I'm going to come in again right on the patterned paper. And there's a nice snug pocket. And then you have some room here for a couple of photos or one big large one. All right, the last piece we're going to put in is this big one. Now, I'm going to try and glue it in. I hope the glue doesn't dry before I get to the other side, but we'll see. So again, this came out of the 12 by 12. All right, so for the front, you're going to make a pocket. It is going to measure 6 1/8 across, and then without the embellishment, it's going to measure in at 4 1/8. And what you're going to put on this is this bicycle. So it's going to come and it's going to sit right in here like so. You've got a pocket to put things, and then to embellish the top, I went to the ephemera and pulled out Hello Summer, mounted it on black cardstock, and I'm putting it right up there. So I'm going to go ahead and get this put on. I'm going to come up about 1/4 of an inch off the bottom and then try to be even here on my two sides for the width. I'm just eyeballing it. And then we're going to glue this on. Beautiful. And then you've got a nice big pocket up here that you can put a picture in. You can put invitation. You could put family reunion notice. I don't know why, but I really think this would make a great collection for a family reunion. They're generally in the summer, involves watermelons. Okay. And then we're going to set this right up here at the top. All right. Just make sure I haven't forgotten anything. We have our two flip up for photos. You've got a nice decent pocket. You can put photos here. Perfect. Let's go ahead and mount our tape so we can get this in the album. Kind of got a little wonky there on that one tape, but it'll still hold. I'm going to put one here and one here, which is going in the same direction as the, I gotta cap my glue, as the two little waterfalls for your photos. It's so fun to listen to this tape pop when you get the air, press the air out of it. All right, let's get this in. So this is going to go right here. And I'm going to turn it this way so that I can see 3 of the 4 sides when I'm putting it in. All right, make sure I'm going in the correct direction. I'm going to come right up almost to the edge. Up, I'm a little lopsided here. There we go, better, much, much better. So let's get in, let's burnish. All right. I'm starting to get a little thick, so this is getting a little more difficult to pull this tape out. So I'm going to grab 2 of them while I have this in the air. Now, before I sit the tape, commit the tape, I'm making sure that my gusset is standing up straight. I don't want it flattening out on me. Then I'm going to come in here, grab that piece, and then I'm going to grab this piece, and then the same thing. I want to make sure that these gussets are standing up straight before I commit. To give them a good old burnish. Make sure that's down, the air pockets are out because I don't want tape drying. Okay, so and there you have it. That is signature number 4. And it didn't take but just about a half an hour to get this done. Once you've got it all pre-cut, it takes about 30 minutes to put it together. So I will see you on the next signature. Bye-bye.